And I would like to present the next speaker. And this is Mr. Han Bing from China. And his talk is called Preliminary Conception of Fusion with Business, TRIZ, and Multi-Methods. Mr. Han Bing, please share your screen. Excellent. Thank you.
Harry, can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, very good.
Okay. Now I will start my presentation. Good evening and good afternoon and good morning, everyone. I'm Han Bing from China, and I'm very happy to meet you again in this Business TRIZ Online. It's a great honor for me to the second speaker at this conference. Now I would like to share with you some inspiration and conception about the process improvement based on the fusion of business trees and multi-methods for systematic innovation. As is known to all, the business trees has only been developed for just 2 decades, but there is a problem cannot be ignored that many tools themselves are not mature enough. In fact, not only in business trees, but also TRIZ itself has such problems. As we know, TRIZ is best at problem solving, but there are still a lot of problems for further research in problem identification and concept substantiation. Many TRIZ tools are easy to understand when we learn them, but once people use them directly to solve the real projects and get solutions, it is still very difficult. Just as a Chinese word said, knowing is easy and doing is hard. These problems led to a fact that some managers and entrepreneurs are confused and don't know where to start when it comes to solving the real problems by business trees. Even though they have attended business trees training workshop and know the TRIZ tools very well, they still don't know how to use them. In our business trees practice, many clients tell us they don't need more ideas and thoughts only, but real practical solutions which can generate direct revenue or created value. So we have adapted our business trees consulting process and tools to meet their needs, incorporating the Chinese situation. Of course, all the adaptation is our own preliminary thinking, not mature enough, and we hope all of you can send us your valuable suggestions. Moreover, another problem is many of TRIZ tools themselves are still uncertain in their application. Here I want to give an example, convolution. I think all of you know this trend, a trend for evolution. We know very well what the trend is, and we also know very well this trend can be used for a business system, a business process, and function. But there are also some problems when we apply this trend. When I taught this trend to my students, some people may ask me several questions. For example, is each state of the trend mandatory? Can we jump one state to another directly? If yes, what conditions should be satisfied if something evolved to the next state, and so on. But very pity, I couldn't explain them clearly. We all know the law revealed by this trend, but we just don't know when, where, and what conditions can we enter next state. So it is not very easy to use. So this problem lets us optimize the problem-solving process in order to fast, efficient, and easy to use in our consulting process practice. Okay, and next, please allow me to introduce some improvement and conception. First, let's look at the whole structure. This picture may be familiar to you, and we have adapted the problem solving process based on some TRIZ schools, such as TRIZ, S-TRIZ, and other schools. In general, we have also 3 major parts: problem analysis, problem solving, and idea evaluation. Okay. First, let's look at the problem analysis. In problem analysis, it contains both business TRIZ tools and other tools for management and social science. For example, innovation situation questionnaire. I think everyone knows this tool very well, and this tool is we know this tool in our TRIZ workshop. But this TRIZ tool is more applied for a micro situation analysis. In order to identify the problem, we can also use some tools from management and social science to analyze the macro situation. For example, PEST analysis, which contains the situation of politics, economics, society, and technology. Now the new progress for these tools is adding E and L at the end, means ecology and loss. And the next one, SWT, means strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. And this one, diamond model. Diamond model is from Michael Porter's competitive advantage theory, and also others. Yeah. So these tools are mainly used to find the initial disadvantage from the macro situation of the enterprise. Through this analysis, we can find the initial disadvantage more precisely. When we finish our situation analysis, we can use other TRIZ tools to analyze and define the key problem. For example, if we finish our situation analysis, we can jump into the root conflict analysis directly and get the innovation problems directly. Here we think that every tool can be used to get the key problems directly. So when we met a real problem, we have to be flexible and use various tools to identify the key problems precisely. Here, many people may ask me why it is necessary to introduce methods from other fields in problem analysis. Okay, I will explain it. In business and management practice, people will consider whether the solution can be suitable for the current situation of the company, or whether the solution we got can be directly used under our current situation. If we totally follow the TRIZ problem-solving process, many solutions will be got indeed, and we do know these solutions are very well. But many of them may not fit the current situation. So whether a solution is feasible or not must be associated to the external environment. If the external environment does not allow us to carry out the solution, then it becomes useless no matter how perfect the solution is. So before we find the initial disadvantage, we exclude some situations which cannot be carried out in the current situation by the situation analysis. Okay. For example, if we want to hold an international TRIZ conference, why do we need to take the way of online, not in person? Very have said yet that we will hold the international business TRIZ conference online or offline. But now, why we held this conference online? Everyone knows the reason, because the pandemic. Now the pandemic is still going on, and we don't know when it will end. So the impact of the pandemic must be taken into account. If we want to hold an international conference with hundreds of participants from all over the world, the cost to the organizers would increase significantly, especially the pandemic prevention and control. For the organizers, it would be economically inappropriate. As far as I know, many international sports games originally held in China have been delayed or canceled directly due to the pandemic. Only except the Winter Olympic Games held on schedule just for 3 months ago. Yeah. So in problem analysis, some unreasonable situations in the current situation can be excluded, and then we can use other TRIZ tools to identify the key problems. Of course, all the unreasonable situation is relative and can be changed with time, space, and conditions. In fact, there are many tools for problem analysis, but not all will be used in one project. Maybe we can get a key problem just by a simple root conflict analysis. So we can use different tools to achieve the same results. Okay. Okay, next, let's move on to problem solving. Problem solving is where TRIZ comes into play. Okay. Here we mainly applied the basic logic of a RIZ. We can identify the technical contradictions, ideal final result, resources, and physical contradictions from this logic. Okay, please look at this picture. Here is the logic of a RIZ proposed from TRIZ master Vladimir Petlov. So I will send my appreciation to him. In my opinion, this logic runs through the whole contradiction analysis, not only in classical trees but also in business trees. And when we use this logic to solve the problems, we found we can generate ideas faster. So we regard this logic as a main part of business trees workshop for China. And I personally think the logic is more important than the algorithm itself. I found if someone just learn the algorithm itself and don't know the logic, when they apply to solve the problem, they will make more mistakes. But if they know the logic and the algorithm, when they apply it to solve the problem, the mistakes will very few. Okay. Of course, we can also use other TRIZ tools to solve the problem. For example, an object field model and inventive standards for business trees, and clone program and navigating models to solve it. And I think most of you are very familiar to them, so I will not introduce more details here. Okay. Okay, next one. Let's enter the part of idea evaluation. After we get all the ideas or solutions, first we will use some statistical tools to induce our solutions, such as cluster analysis and discriminant analysis. Here we also use as a reference from Anton Kremiakov, so we also thank him. Here we put all the ideas or solutions into an idea box and integrated them into a few viable solutions based on the similarity of the ideas. We know business practice is different from new product development. In technical fields, there should be trade-offs in all the solutions we generated, but business practice is different. In theory, all the solutions can be adopted, but need to time, space, and conditions for implementation. For example, if we got 5 solutions, I can use solution 1 if the condition 1 appears. I can use solution 2 if the condition 2 appears, and so on. If the condition 1 and condition 2 appears simultaneously, we can also consider adopting and integrating both solution 1 and solution 2. Okay. And the next step is the feasibility evaluation. Of course, there are many methods. We know these TRIZ tools very well, multi-criteria decision matrix, yes. In addition to use it, we can also use some decision methods in operation research and management science, such as analytic hierarchy process and pure matrix, backpropagation, and the Markov model. Yes, and also others. This will ensure the practicality of our final solution as much as possible. Moreover, many of these tools can be implemented by software, so we can finish our evaluation faster. And the next one is idle and stepping. All of you know it. Okay. All right. That is our whole process. We propose this frame from the consultant point of view, but we have not adopted some immaterial tools for the time being, such as value conflict mapping, because we have no suitable real cases by using these tools, at least in China. I know later there will be a presentation about application of value conflict mapping. Maybe it can inspire us. Of course, we will continue to refine our frame and the process with the improvement of new TRIZ tools applications. Okay. Well, let's start my summary. By importing some methods from other fields at the right place in TRIZ solution process, we can generate feasible solutions more effectively and faster. Here we use some methods from other fields such as management, statistics, operation research, social science, and other fields. Okay. Of course, that is only an exploration and a preliminary conception. More details will be adjusted and polished later. After all, the frame of business TRIZ is not yet finalized. So I hope we can build a Chinese mode of business TRIZ consultation. That is also our goal. Okay, finally, I want to share a picture to all of you. This picture, I think, is not unfamiliar to you. I remember I have presented this picture on the last business TRIZ online. The truth of this picture is very simple, and I think many people can understand it. In fact, customer does not care whether your solution is advanced or not. He just cares more about whether your solution can, whether you can solve his problem. In Chinese, a word said pragmatism refers to it. And I once read an article, of course in Chinese, about the correlation between TRIZ tools and the level of solutions. The article pointed out some real problems not being solved for several years, when they are solved just by one simple physical contradiction or several inventive principles. Very simple, at least in China. So in my opinion, the ultimate goal of our research on business TRIZ is solving problems and creates value more quickly and efficiently. And the tools are just the way, not the aim. Of course, there's still a long way to go for large-scale application of business TRIZ. Okay, maybe there are 1 minute left. Yes. I would like a supplement and information. Sorry, Valerie, I will take up one more minute. Okay. We have been actively planning business TRIZ online in Chinese since last year, but due to the pandemic and coordination, it has been delayed until now. So this year, we are going to hold the first business TRIZ online in Chinese. We invite anyone who is interested in business TRIZ and who can understand Chinese to the conference. Of course, all the presentation will be shared in Chinese. Later, we will announce the details about the conference. Please stay concerned. Well, that's my presentation. Maybe time is up. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly, and please pay attention to the following exciting presentations. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Okay, Hanbin, thank you very much for your presentation. I see that in your approach, you are more sticking with classical matrix presentation, and you use logic of Harris. Why don't you use 40 inventive principles and the matrix of Darrell Mann, the latest one, the 3.0?
Yes, in fact, we also use this. We also use the tools for the third version of matrix from Darrell Mann.
Okay.
We also use it.
Okay. Because I personally, probably you've seen that in my list of tools, there is no arrays. I give logic of arrays on a first level, of course, but I found, and people try to solve problems with methods of separation of contradictions in time, but this is very difficult. Well, when I'm using arrays, of course, I don't call it arrays. That's
Yeah.
a question. That's a question.
Yeah.
I don't call it arrays. I call it just logic, or because algorithm, algorithm is not a straightforward. Algorithm should go back and back and back. Then it will be algorithm. But in current situation, it's very difficult to separate contradictions in time. When Altshuler was given arrays, he said that this is only can happen after 200 hours of training in TRIZ.
Yeah. We have not introduced all the algorithm arrays. We just introduced the logic of array, and we propose this frame just from the consultant's point of view, not for the trainees. Not for the trainees.
Yeah, I see. Because in my training, anybody can join. So
in my workshop, we will taught our trainees inventive principles and matrix and other tools.
Okay, we should talk to you later after the conference more extensively. I can show you the further developments that we have and so forth. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, there are some more questions from Anton Kazimaka. Han, do you have any examples to employ TRIZ tools with statistics analysis tools?
We just use statistical tools to the idea evaluation to integrate some similar ideas when we generated some solutions. We have some examples, yes.
Okay, thank you. And from David Isaac, thanks. Please, could you elaborate how the ideas could be evaluated with cluster or multivariate analysis?
Cluster and multivariate. Also, that is very similar from Andong Kremiakov. We also use some statistical tools to evaluate some these ideas. In discriminant analysis, there are some criteria to evaluate the similarity. Yes, we will use this thing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, any more questions to Mr. Bin Han?